Aries, welcome to your June sidereal forecast. My name is Athen. So this month we have a full moon taking place right at the beginning of the month in your 8th house. Going back up here, June 2nd is when the full moon is going to be. And that's going to be in that 8th house of yours. So this is all about the deeper side of life. You guys had a new moon here 2 weeks ago at the tail end of May. And so now it's a culmination point of perhaps some of these things you were working on with the material side of life, with the financial side of life. That sector, that second house is really being highlighted heavily this month with your ruler there. There's going to be a conjunction between the Sun and Mars as well. Mercury's going station direct there, so there's a lot of things you've been learning, perhaps about your values, the material things, Mother Earth and all of her abundance, being grateful, really, for the abundance in our life. So anyways, a culmination of that over the past 2 weeks can definitely be the case. Also, a culmination over the past 6 months relating to the 8th house. The 8th house is the healthy bonds that we form, the connections that help us get deeper with life, deeper with relationships, deeper with different areas. And for you, it's probably a lot to do with home and family, because we're talking about the moon here, but this will be specifically this month. And then also your work and friendship sector, I think, has been going through a deeper transformation with Saturn, who recently went in there towards the tail end of last year, who is now retrograde. So I think you're reflecting on a lot of these things. But in either case, very deep in general for this first couple weeks of the month, wanting to see the truth, wanting to see things for how they actually are. Now on the 4th, we've got Venus shifting into your 4th house, where there's going to be some emphasis as well, which is about home and family, your roots. Venus here is all about enjoying the past, enjoying your connections, where you come from, home, family, connecting, having connections there as well with relationships. Venus naturally rules your 7th house. There's also more emotions in regards to your relationships as well, more emotional interchange, exchanges. And then in terms of a lot of this financial stuff, whereas I think you've been thinking about it recently over, since May, now there's going to be a shift into where I think you're going to be feeling the values, feeling the material side of life on more of that emotional level, and reflecting on it that way, especially in terms of the past. It's very nostalgic kind of energy too, relating to your values and things of that nature. But very nice there with Venus in the 4th house, which is the bottom of the chart where she likes to be. Then on the 11th, we have that Mercury going station direct. So that's going to be in that 2nd house of yours, where I think over the past few weeks you've been either redoing or rethinking or relearning things relating to your values. What's important to you, what are the things you enjoy out of life. Again, the material enjoyments in particular, which is Taurus. So whatever it is that you've learned during that time from the 11th onward, it's about applying it. And especially around the 11th while he's stationed, just reflect on that. And then when he gains his momentum, he's going to fly through that 2nd house, and you'll be able to apply a lot of these things that you learned. And again, there is a lot of emphasis in that 2nd house, because from the 11th through the 18th, this middle part of the month here, we've got this conjunction between the Sun and your ruler Mars in the 2nd. So you've already been very motivated, very driven, I think, for the material side of life. And now with the Sun there, you're very expressive about it, I think, and you have been. But when these two planets come together, it really magnifies it. And I think there's even more to be understood as well, because the Sun is like that torch. And with your ruler Mars, it's like you're expressing yourself, you're understanding through your expression. There's also changes and transformations happening there with the ruler of your 8th Mars in that 2nd house as well. So lots of changes happening, very, very nice. And that's what we want to do, is we want to step into the energies of the planets. And for you, it's making change, it's expressing yourself, it's creatively understanding, thinking about, and applying. Mercury is the day-to-day applications of these material elements of life. It's that season for you. It's the time to do that. So why not? This is the month. The energy is in flow for you in that sector. So any goals, any intentions that you have, is a fantastic month to put those into this part of your life. Now on the 12th, we've got Neptune going retrograde for the next 6 months, then followed by Chiron here later on the month, around the 24th. So there's this reflection now for the next 6 months in relation to groups and networks and anything larger than self there with the 11th house. So the key there is reflection, and I think you might notice a shift in that area, something maybe relating to the group sector for you. That'll be particularly around the 12th, I think, is when you might notice a shift there. And just redo it, rethink it. Spend some time with friends and family, and friends and groups and networks. And then through that, you will certainly learn a lot in that process over the next 6 months. And there is an emphasis on family too, by the way, though. So it is both friends and family, I would say, for you guys. Now, from the 15th to the 28th, this second half of the month, we've got Jupiter making his third and final trine up to Uranus, which has been this ongoing energy since about September of last year. So a very long time, these two planets have been in this trine aspect. Now, this is the final trine. So if you can think about since September, what was it that maybe there was some sudden opportunities or new things coming in regards to home or in regards to family. And it can be very spiritual, can be kind of unknown because Uranus has been transiting that 12th house, where things just kind of happen. They always happen out of nowhere with Uranus, but in the 12th house, it's really out of nowhere, because it's the unseen house. So whatever that is, think from September, and then in March, we had the next second aspect of that. So maybe there was some shifting there, something learned about home, family, opportunities, and expansion there. And so now it's a final culmination of that, a final aspect where I think you're understanding a lot more about the excitement in home, family, the excitement about philosophy, spiritual studies, the excitement about, connecting to God, the universe, source, however you see that. All of that supporting your emotional body, your foundations, your roots in life, and where you come from as well. So very exciting. That's the second half of the month there. So I'd really try some different things, some new things with home, family, mix some things up. You got a very supportive energy to do that, very exciting energy from that aspect from Uranus to the 4th house. Now on the 16th, we've got the new moon, which is taking place in that second house of yours. So this is going to be the new beginnings again, all relating to the financial, material values of life. So I think through all of this, action and energy perhaps that you're putting into it, all this learning and redoing you've been doing for the past few weeks with that Mercury retrograde, now the new moon is suggesting there are some new beginnings shaping up here for you. And now they're subtle, and that's just the energies of the new moon. As the month unfolds, towards particularly the second half of the month, you'll notice more and more of these new beginnings in terms of their fruition. And then in 2 weeks from now, you will have that full moon from this second house energy, which will culminate a lot of these things around that time period. So it's all about putting action towards it, like I've been saying, and there is a conjunction between this new moon and Mars, which is making it exceptionally about taking action. But remember, during the new moon phase, whether we're taking action or not, we want to be malleable, we want to be like the bamboo, make adjustments, not make any final decisions because things are still in the flux at that time period around the new moon. So that's going to be pretty much between about the 16th and the 20th. And then on the 20th, the sun is going to go into your 3rd house, followed by Mars on the 23rd, your ruler. So there is this shift at the tail end of this month, I'd say the last week, certainly about the mercurial side of life, the exchanges, the learning, teaching, sharing, perhaps writing, journaling, communicating. It's a very light energy here. So with both your ruler and the sun here at the tail end, there's definitely the shift, and this is where you're going to have the new moon next month. And this is where a lot of energy is going to be in July for you in the communicative, thought-provoking area of life. You are still finishing up some things. Again, lots of this still very much about the second house, but you will notice, I think, that wanting to learn, wanting to teach, share, and by all means, do it. I mean, that's going to be the season for that as well. So as you can see here, especially at the end of the month, you can have a lot of emphasis on the bottom of your chart on the 3rd house, which is the mental, communicative side of things, and the 4th house, which is the emotional, domestic side of things. And then at the very end of the month, actually not until July 1st when it goes exact, but you'll feel this the last few days of the month, is this conjunction, very nice conjunction between Venus and Jupiter in Leo in your 4th house. Okay, so this is all about the emotions here. This is about the opportunities that are coming in through perhaps relationships, perhaps these material things in life, because your moon is going to be very full at this point from that new moon of your 2nd house. You see, and Venus naturally rules your 2nd house, so this can certainly be some opportunities, especially while that's still Jupiter still trining up to Uranus. Perhaps some new opportunities with the financial side of things, material side of things. Maybe with relationships. It just depends on your personal chart. But in either case, a very fantastic conjunction between these two planets at the very end of the month. So Aries, I hope you guys have a nice June. If you have any questions, please let me know. If you're new to this form of astrology, do check out masteringthezodiac.com, or if you'd like a personal session, please get in touch, and I will see you all next time. Take care.